now we'll welcome on Cooper Trinkle, the Indiana Prep Baseball Indiana scouting director. He's going to talk through some prospects from Illinois that were at the Max Clark Holiday Slugfest. All right, we are lucky enough to be joined by Cooper Trinkle, the Prep Baseball Indiana scouting director today. Really, we want Coop just to kind of talk through the Max Clark Slugfest that happened, 2 weeks ago now, and really just talk about the event as a whole, but also kind of specifically some of those Illinois guys that were at the event, kind of how they showed. And yeah, Coop, thanks for hopping on. We're pumped to have you.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. I'm definitely a pretty consistent listener of the Bullpen here. I love kind of listening to you guys talk Illinois baseball and get some ideas for what we can talk about in Indiana as well. So again, thank you all for having me on.
Well, that's funny, Gav, that he brings that up because, we over the holidays did a 2027 draft where we split up into teams, and we stole that straight from you. How you did that, I think with 2028, it was coming off of rankings, and had a great time doing it. So thanks for that idea. I think it that's the beauty of our company is looking around all the different states, seeing what they're doing, guys that we respect in the business, and trying to get ideas off of them. And you guys are always pushing the envelope with what you do. So kudos to you guys over there in Indiana.
Yeah, I was all over that podcast. When you guys released it, I immediately went and listened to it. I was talking crap to Pete. I'm like, I'm taking Team Lacasio and a freaking sweep. Caden Wisniewski gives me nightmares. Like, that guy's, yeah. So, no, awesome. Well, I mean, as far as the Slugfest goes, man, like, it's a really, really cool event. And it's something that, again, kind of like you talk, like, it kind of speaks to what our company does. Like, we're able to cover so many different bases within prep baseball, within our hyper local areas. And for this event, really, it was something that was very hyper local until all of a sudden this year, it's like, oh, wow, it's not, right? So it's like, it's awesome to see kind of the first year we did it was last year, where it turned from last year into this year, kind of how it got started. And I'll get into that story a little bit too, because it was pretty cool. It really happened organically, right? Like Max is a guy that I've been lucky enough to have a relationship with since he was 10 or 12, or not 10, 12, 13 years old. We trained at the same facility here in Franklin, Indiana when I was like in a college. I think it was sophomore year of college, early in my college career. Long story short, I'd have training groups with me and some college training partners. Max would be in here with some of his teammates. We'd kind of end each day with this hit tracks game, right? So we'd pick captains, build a team, play 9 innings, and oftentimes it would turn into a 3-game series where we're all talking smack back and forth. It ends up being a lot of fun. I could actually get into some funny stories of some different chirps and different stuff like that. But so last year we kind of talked about it, and it was like, hey, what if we did this with like the best players in Indiana? And Max was like, and if you know Max, like most competitive dude ever, he's also like one of the best humans I've ever met. He loves being able to like be a leader to baseball players within the community. And so he's like, yeah, let's do it. Like, put me in a group chat with these guys. So last year we put him in a group chat with 10 or 12 high school kids. He was like, hey, this is what we're planning. Within 10 minutes, they're all like, yes, I'm there. Like, whatever day, like, we're there. So we finished up last year, and it was kind of like, whoa, like, what if we really shoot for the stars here? And I thought we kind of did that with this year's roster, and it really came to fruition in a really special way. So yeah, it was like, just to see where it's come, and what it turned into is a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys had 5 or 6 Illinois guys, and one of those was Sushi Wilson. He's at IMG now, but he did go to Lane Tech, so still an Illinois guy, kind of. He's from Illinois. Who were some of like the standouts from that group of Illinois guys?
Yeah, Sushi was definitely one of them, and I remember he came to an event when he was like 14, came to an Indiana event. I remember seeing him growing up, coming through Illinois. So to see him turn into the player that he has now is really, really cool. I thought he was one of the more impressive hitters at the event. The hand speed's electric. He's hitting balls. I think it was 104.4 off the bat. Just aggressive. I love the way he delivers the top hand. For me, Brady Cunningham, I thought, was the most impressive Illinois guy to me on a consistent basis. big physical kid, going to Texas A&M, right? Yeah, and he
That's
was,
correct.
I want to say 105 off the bat, but it was the way he did it, right? Like there were some of these guys jumped into the cage that were trying to, you could tell that they were trying to hit the ball hard. Brady was coming up, staying behind the baseball, right center, left center, up to 105. A lot of fun to watch, very consistent. I was messing with Jackson Tucker throughout the day. I was like, hey, I want you to imagine there's an Indiana pitcher on the mound. And in any big spot. And so it was actually funny. He had a walk-off, I want to say double or home run in one of the games. And it was like right before I was like, hey, there's an Indiana guy on the mound. Boop, turned around, did it. So just to see his ability to leverage, it was really cool. I thought he was impressive. Carver Cohn's a special talent. I mean, the hand speed's electric, super good athlete. And so those three were really impressive to me. I thought Tristan Sager was very impressive as the day went on, made a couple adjustments that were impressive. I thought his hands worked really well. So that's kind of my quick synopsis on the Illinois guys. It's one of those things that Illinois guys are studs. They always come perform.
Well, when it's against Indiana, I think they stepped their game up exactly like you're talking about. You were cracking me up with Jackson Tucker because that was the game where he was MVP, hit 2 home runs against you guys. It was like nothing could go wrong for Illinois that day. And then I love hearing you talk about Brady Cunningham because that's exactly what we've seen from him. Like he's got huge tools, some of the best power in the state, but also some of the, best polish as far as a hitter and the maturity and the professional approach. And to hear that he wasn't just going for the numbers and he can still put up the numbers because that's just how electric his bat is. I love to hear that. So, all these guys that you listed, Jackson Tucker, Brady Cunningham, Tristan Stager, they were all future gamers for us this year. So it's really cool to see them, get involved in that event. Blake Ragsdale was another one you mentioned. Like he's been committed. So that would have been a guy that would have been fully in the mix for the future games as well. And then Carver Cohn, he sits at the top of our 2028 class. So like, man, you brought in a ton of like the top guys in Illinois. I know you attacked a few others. But then to see you did that also in like Ohio, Indiana, just kudos to you for bringing that roster together. And Pete, I think you might have had something to chime in here on as well.
No, Coop, I was just curious, like for myself and people listening, can you break down like the format of like, all right, they show up, what does their day look like at this event? Because I'm not even sure myself.
Yeah, for sure. So it's basically what we try to do with it is the focus of the event is the tournament, right? Like it is the hit tracks tournament, it is the controlled gameplay tournament. Like more than anything, what I want this to be is an opportunity for kids to be able to come in and I say kids, like a group of very, very talented players have the ability in the middle of the winter to come in here and compete, right? Like that was the coolest part of the event was seeing them all compete, right? So to answer your question, basically they show up. First thing that they do, after they get loose, get warm, all that stuff. There's a showcase style BP, and so we do that in order to ensure that everybody's got a chance to show what they can do. Okay, if your team goes 0-3 and you guys just had a tough day and you only got 9 swings in the controlled setting, right? Like to me, you're not getting the full experience and we're not able to evaluate to the full extent. So they take that round of BP, show what they can do in a controlled setting, and then it turns into a pool play type feel, right? Type tournament. So I split it into 2 pools of 4 teams. Everybody played 2 pool play games. Then we seeded it out 1 through 8, and then we went single elimination bracket style all the way to the championship. Max's team ended up winning it this year, and unfortunately Max wasn't able to compete. Like I said, if you know Max, like that killed him. He was able to compete in it last year, and his team didn't win last year, and so he was coming in here to win this year. So I know that killed him, but his team ended up winning in pretty convincing fashion. So that's kind of how the day works. Basically, it's a 5-6 hour event in total, BP, and then 3 to 5 games depending on how deep your team goes in the tournament.
Who's deciding if it's a double, single? Does Hit Tracks spit that out? Okay.
Yeah, and so that's the cool part about Hit Tracks is, and it's it's not perfect to where it doesn't pick up topspin as well as it would in a game, right? So you can topspin a ball to your pull side, let's call it 17-degree launch angle. You hit it 100 miles an hour. Well, the hit tracks picks that up as that's a ball that's going to clear the outfielder, when in reality, the topspin would have made it kill it. Left fielder would have caught it, right? So there is some discrepancies of like, oh, well, that happens, right? But yes, the hit tracks decides, what ends up happening. It's actually kind of fun because they'll throw in a random double play when it's like 115 murdered line drive, one hop. Somehow the shortstop makes a Francisco Lindor-esque play and gets double play ball off of it. So it keeps everybody on toes, makes a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's great.
How do you guys determine the teams? And you talked about Max's team. Is Max like picking the guys that he wants on his roster, or how do you guys go about that?
So yes, we did do that for this year. So like I said, Max had a vendetta going into this, like, I'm winning it this year. And so he's like, I'm picking my team. I want a superstar dream team. So he picked his team, and then there was a group of 2 or 3 of us that had an idea of who the players were, and we kind of tried to even the teams out. Through the other 6 teams, we had a team that was exclusively 2029s at this event that I thought was pretty cool. We had our top 3 in Indiana, and then a couple other 29s that we're excited about. And so for me, I thought that was a really cool experience for those guys earlier in their high school career, getting to see what the best of the best looks like in the Midwest, giving them a goal to shoot for. And that's something that I want to continue to do. Have those young guys there. As we talked about, like, this is something that goes between 4 grades. And so I think that's very valuable for those guys. But long story short, moving forward, I do want to get this to a draft style. Like, I in my head next year, we have and another thing with it, we always have captains. So Max is a captain for his team, but it's either college or professional player. They are the captain of their group of 5 high school guys. And so again, gives the high school kids another cool piece of, like, you can pick the Division I player's ear. We had Cal Gates from Indiana. We had Peyton Dickens from Houston. We had Andrew Wiggins from NC State. So having those high school kids have the opportunity to talk to those kids, I think that's a lot of fun. Where I go to next year, it's like, okay, what if we got all these guys on a podcast, or got them all on a live stream, and we did a true draft with it? I think that would be really cool. Overall, as far as like where the roster came from, it was just us sitting here like, hey, let's shoot for the stars and see if we can get the best players in the Midwest. So yeah, that's kind of hinting at what we want to do in the future, but kind of laying out, how our process looked like.
Well, you talk about Sushi Wilson, you talk about some of these Illinois guys. I'm curious, because it was some of the best players in the Midwest. Like, for you, who were the MVPs of the event? I saw some social stuff out there personally, but I want to give you the opportunity to highlight some guys, whether it was Indiana or other states, that kind of wowed the crowd there.
Yeah. So I'll go 2 different ways with this, because I think by the nature of this, kids can really impress with barrel accuracy or sheer impacts, right? Like, the guys who hit the ball 112, 115, like that's just super impressive. But not every kid has the physicality to just hit the ball that hard, and that's not what's required to be a good hitter, right? So it's like Grady Emerson, I thought, was as advertised, right? Top 5 player in the country out of Texas, chance to be a big time draft guy for this year. He was exactly what you'd expect of a player of that caliber. I mean, it was on the barrel every single swing. Super impressive, super professional in the way he went about things. I thought Jacob Groschel from Ohio was my MVP, and he's a guy that I loved at Grand Park. He was 15 for 21 in the day entirely. 5 of his first 6 swings in the gameplay setting were 100 plus, and he's 5'10", 165 pounds, and 2028 from Ohio, right? So, like, not a kid that's just gonna just blow your socks off when you see him walk in, but man, the way he's able to move the bat was super impressive. He's a guy that, like, I've pushed all chips on. I think that kid is a star. He was super fun to watch. And then the other side of it, we had Sean Dunlap and Dominic Santarelli. I thought were just like uber impressive. With both of them hit the ball 115 on the hit tracks. And now I will say this disclaimer: we used MLB balls on the hit tracks. We used regular baseballs during TrackMan. So both of those guys were 109, 110 in the TrackMan EV. So that's a little bit more it translates more to what we do in a showcase setting, right? But in the hit track setting, hitting balls 115, I mean, homer galore, just taking some swings that were just like, man, like high school kids don't do this. So for me, those 4 were really the 4 that I walked away. Just, man, these kids were really impressive.
Well,
And again, it's hard because it's like I could sit here and bore you guys all day and talk about the whole roster because it truly was that special.
That's awesome. I love hearing Dominic Santarelli call out because that's a guy we're familiar with, just being so close to Wisconsin and working with those guys and seeing them in the summer and stuff. But you bring up the baseballs. I was gonna ask, like, with the machine that's going, okay, what's the velo? Like, is it similar setup to a showcase setup? Are you having this come in at 85 or like, what's that look like?
Yeah, so it was the BP setting was exactly how we run all of our showcase events.
Okay.
So it's 39 feet, roughly. I know the dials on the Hack Attack, so it's the exact same thing that we set up for a showcase. Now at the hit track side, we do have, like, it'll say pitch speed, and so the pitching machine was set up about 42 feet away. The pitch speed was in the low 60s, so it basically gets you to a reaction speed somewhere in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
And especially with the spin that the Hack Attack creates, it kind of is like that higher spin, heavy-ish fastball. To where a point, like, there were guys that didn't just come in and like, oh my gosh, this is super slow, we're able to just murder this. But like, there were some guys that were challenged with it a little bit. But by no means was it a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Hey, get up there, figure it out, right? Like,
Yeah.
guys could get their a swing off, especially after they got a couple at bats.
Hey, one thing I wanted to ask, I saw a video after the event. It was Max giving out a chain, it looked like. Was that his, or did he get that for the event? Like, what's the story behind that?
No, so he did not give that chain out. So
Okay.
that was another thing that Max was really bummed about having to miss. So Max is a big jewelry guy. He purchased a chain that is basically, he mocked it off of a Jalen Hurts chain that he had. It was way too expensive for him to give out at an event like this, but it was something that he was really excited to be able to, like, show it off, wear it around. And so with him being sick, he was able to muster it up, come in for the last couple minutes, take some pictures with his team. But if you know Max, he had to show off that jewelry. And so it got delivered that morning. And so it was actually a funny story. The jeweler showed up and he's like, hey, I'm here to deliver this for Max Clark. Well, he's not here because he's sick. And the jeweler's like, well, I can't just leave this here. So he ended up having to FaceTime Max and Max's wife and make sure it was like, hey, am I allowed to leave this very expensive piece of jewelry with these people? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. So no, he did not give that out. It was more for the I guess for the clout.
Gotcha. Yeah, I saw that, and I'm like, those kids probably thought that was so sick. I don't know. He like put it on someone's head, didn't he?
Yeah, he put it on Matt Meeker and I don't know how long he wore it, but dude, I'm not joking. Like, this thing was the size of his phone, all dime right here. I mean, almost like, man, we're living different lives here, but
That's nuts.
No, it was pretty cool.
Coop, is there anything that you want to touch on before we finish up? If not, I can just wrap it up.
No, I was gonna say, just thanks for the opportunity for letting me come on here, talk with you all about it. Like I said, love listening to the Bullpen, love what you guys are doing here. So I love having the opportunity to come on, and for Illinois guys listening, we're gonna be doing this again next year, and we wanna elevate it even more. So that's something that we're really excited about. So yeah, again, thanks for having me on. Thanks for listening to me. Thanks for talking.
Yeah, Coop, appreciate you hopping on. It means a lot. And yeah, be sure to check out the Prep Baseball Indiana podcast. Do you guys have a specific name for it that you call it, or
not? Kind of, sort of. We haven't got to like the name where it's like, oh yeah, that's the one, right? And so like I was intro of a we're talking Indiana baseball, and so for right now, that's kind of what it is. And all yours. If you guys have a cool podcast name for Indiana, maybe that's something some of your listeners can leave us in the podcast comments. But that would be the closest thing we got.
All right, and is it on YouTube? Is that where they can find it?
Yeah, we're on YouTube, Prep Baseball Indiana.
Yeah, go check that out. Appreciate you hopping on though, Coop. You're the man.
Yep.
Good luck this winter, Coop, with all the showcases. Hope you guys crush it there in Indiana. We'll talk to
you guys too.
All right. See you at the Super 60?
Absolutely. Actually, maybe at the Pro Case.
I was wondering, depending on how many Indiana guys. There was one that came through and registered, so.
Okay, I was going to say, we have 4 or 5 that may end up coming. I just don't know. Are they going to accept? Are they not? So we'll plan. If we had enough guys up there, you might see me stroll in there, annoy you guys for the night, hang out. So
you're more than welcome. We'll stay in touch.